trying to get myself sorted. So I'm on here early. I don't actually know if this is going to work because I'm in the granary. Ha! Right, so I'm here early. I'll leave it a few minutes and just watch me fiddling around, looking at stuff. What is this? The name would be useful. I know whose that is. Who do we have here? Oh, Rouge! Oh, that's a massive fleece. That was enormous. Put that on the Rouge. Winston. Hey, Half Acre Heaven. Just trying to set things up a bit. Not quite sure what I'm going to do today. I just thought whilst I'm doing stuff in here, I'll video some of it. Got to take some of this over to Tapo North. Their compost. Because it makes great compost for these small amounts. We sort of pull it apart quite a bit. My poor Teddy. Oh, it's not fun. Am I going to spin? Sort of. I have my drop spindle with me. This is a very primitive way of spinning. It's how most people start off, actually. So I brought it with me. I thought I could actually do a little bit of carding and a little bit of spinning. You have a drop spindle. Brilliant. I love them, actually. I used to use mine when I used to live in Sussex and travel to London every day for work. The trains were always late. I used to sit at the train station with my drop spindle spinning. So I think people would always ask about it. You have a wheel too. I have a spinning wheel as well, but because I'm really short. I mean, I've actually often thought about having the DNA tests for dwarfism, because whilst my body is normal length, my arms and legs are actually shorter, and that's generally a sign of dwarfism. Not massively, but enough that it affects things, and that's why my spinning wheel, my weaving loom is having to be made for me, and also why spinning's so difficult for me, because it's getting, hi Rach, it's getting the spinning wheel close enough, but because of the shortness of my legs, when I'm pushing down on the pedal, the spinning wheel tends to move away from me a little bit every time, and it's a nightmare. So I am really good at spinning, actually. I've only ever had one lesson, and you know, they said to me I was really good at spinning, and I went home and you know, in about 20 minutes I've spun like meters and meters. That's after my first lesson, but the spinning wheel moves, it really annoys me. And with my shoulders and my hands, fibromyalgia, it does make it difficult. But yes, so I do have the drop spindle, so I'll do a little bit on that. Right. What I'm doing today is I'm looking at the fleeces that I've got, and I'm going to do a little bit of carding and probably a little bit of spinning on the drop spindle. These are a lot of fun. I like these. Very therapeutic once you get working on it. This fleece you probably won't have seen. I've got the dogs in with me, so if you hear like scuttling around, it's the dogs. And I'm in the granary, and below me is the goat pen and the stable. And I've currently got Sean, the white Soe cross. He's in the stable because he was coughing yesterday, and he's such a pain to get hold of for antibiotics, for injections and stuff. He had an injection last night. I said, I'm not putting him back out because I'm never going to get him again. So, yeah. Oh, I hope Lynette joins us. She's quite good at these sorts of things. So what I'm going to do first, this is Soe fleece. This Soe fleece is amazing. You don't tend to shear Soes. You sometimes have to, and I actually had a really interesting conversation with the Soe group, the people who go on to St Kilda once a year and they round up all the Soes because they live there wild essentially, and they give them a health check and trim their feet if needed and do their ear tags of the babies. And I was talking to them. Hi Southern Bless Homestead. I'm good, thank you. I'm having quite a calm day. I didn't sleep very well. I'm having a calm day, but I'm enjoying, feeling quite good. So, yeah, and they were actually saying they'd posted a photo of a Soe ewe who she hadn't lost her fleece. And Soes, they normally molt themselves. I think the Americans call them a hair sheep. They molt themselves. You don't generally have to shave them. And they said they've got an interesting thing where a Soe ewe who doesn't drop her fleece herself normally doesn't have a lamb the next year. And then when I was talking to some of the farmers up here, they said that's actually also the same for Scottish black-faced sheep. And Soes are a small primitive breed that have basically developed natural sort of lifestyle on some islands in the Hebrides, in the Outer Hebrides. And the Scottish black-faced are also that sort of area, but they're bigger, they're more of a Highland breed. So I found it quite interesting that those two are exactly the same. So yes, anyway, I picked this up when it come out. Now, the Soe fleece is amazing. It's so soft, it's so lovely. It's got much more lanolin. I don't know if you can see, my fingers are already shiny just from handling this tiny little bit of fleece. But I've just been trying hand carding it. I've seen a lady who sells Soe fleece and she cards it on a drum carder. Obi, sorry. And it's one of those things I don't like the look of it when it's come off the drum carder. And I thought I'm going to try it with these carding brushes. If you think they look like dog brushes, it's because they are. Carding brushes are exactly the same, except they're bigger and heavier. And I have proper carding brushes, and they're like 50 something pound each. And they're too heavy. I can't use them with my hands. It's just a nightmare. So I just use these. Don't know anything about sheep. Well, it's a good place to learn. I'm still learning. I had a lot to do with them when I was a teenager. And I had nothing to do with them for many years. Now I'm back to dealing with them again. There's Obi. He caught a massive rat last night. We've had one rat on here since we moved in. I've always seen it on camera. And I knew it was a male, lone male, because there were no babies or anything. And he caught it last night. It was literally, the body was this size, and then you had the tail as well. And yeah, it was a male. I kept seeing it on the camera. It's taken me a year to catch the thing, and he did it last night. So I'm very proud of him. It does now, of course, mean I probably end up with other rats moving in. Anyway, yeah, so this fleece, because they drop it themselves and they live where they live, it's, horrendous weather. If you have a look on YouTube at a place called St Kilda, so ST space Kilda, Kilda. If you ever look on videos there, they evacuated the place because the life was just too hard. There are no trees there. You're right out in the ocean. It's very, very cold, very, very windy. Not much grows there at all. The houses couldn't have windows because they just all fall in, and the roofs were generally brain's gone, sorry. The roofs of the houses were generally sort of soil. To make the wooden beams for the houses, they'd actually have to wait for driftwood to come in, and then they'd collect the driftwood, and then they'd go about it like that. It's really, really harsh environment, and it was cut off for more than half the year. Thank you, Rach. and basically the people asked to be evacuated because they just it was a dying place, and the only people who ever go back there forever now are after former residents have died. They're allowed to be buried there, and most of them do want to be because it was they loved the life, but it was really hard. But on St Kilda, these Soay sheep, they thrive. They're amazing. Hi Brenda, didn't see you come in there. Sorry. Um, yeah, so they've got a lot of lanolin in these. Really lot. I mean, my fingers are. I don't know if you can make it see it there. You can sort of see how shiny they are. That's from the lanolin. You'll struggle to find a sheep with more lanolin in its fleece than a Soay. And how you collect the fleece, because they self molt, is either you do what I did, which was go around the place and just pick up bits that just caught on fences or thistles and things, or it's what I think it's called ruing, and you basically have the sheep in front of you and you sit there plucking it like that. So that's what you do with this. Now I've just tried hand carding it and it's not really going very well, but it's such a lovely fleece. I'm actually going to try the drop spindle. Hi Morris family. I'm sorry guys, I am really seriously useless with names. So I'm going to try this. Now I've never done this before with Soay. So we're going to see. Now what I start off with, this drop spindle. See, it's got a little hook at the top. Don't know if you make that out. See. Now I start off with a little bit of wool that's already there from something else. And this is quite chunky wool. And it just means that most things will stick to it. And then, oh, it's not quite long enough, is it? Oh, come here. And then what you do is you spin it. And as you spin, this is going to take me a while to get started because I haven't done it for a long time, and this is a little bit too just a little bit too short, so I'm going to have to try it a different way. So don't look at this bit. What I want to do is start the spinning off here. I haven't done this for so long, and I've never ever tried using a fleece that is so soft and also so full of lanolin. Amazing fleece. There we go. So this is a drop spindle. So what you do is you spin it, and then you pull a bit along, and then you let go, and then it takes the spin up. There you go. Oops, sorry, I'm not really showing you. Anyway, so you get like a bit on here. You undo this. This is actually really amazing to work with. This is fantastic. So you spin it on there. A little bit more. Wrap it round the hook there. And then you try and remember which way you span it. Yep, that way. Start it spinning again. Whoops. Ah, messed up. If you'll see when I have a play with Banthas fleece, if you've got a long, what we call a long staple, so if the fleece is quite long, it's easier than with this, which is really quite short fleece. Yeah, I'm messing this up a bit, but you know what? I've never used Soay fleece. This is the first time I've ever dealt with it, and to be honest, this year when I had my own Soays, I've only had them a few months. It's the first time I've ever handled a Soay fleece, so it is all a learning curve. I'll be better with longer with longer staples, they call it, but I do twist it quite a lot. Oh no, and then you break it. That's what happens if you don't have it thick enough. Anyway, so that's Soay, really difficult. With practice, this will be really nice. Feels so lovely. Soay fleece is so soft and so lovely. But what I'm now going to do is I'm going to use that to then attach some other fleece on. So I'm going to grab one of these others. Let's try Dorset next. Now this Dorset, again, I've never dealt with Dorset, This is from Winston, the really, really big lad. Now, Dorset fleece is quite different. So again, it's a short stay fleece. It's only about that long. It's not very long, so it won't be easy. Let's try carding it. Everything now is going to be completely covered in loads of lanolin because I probably shouldn't have used the Soe first. Now, interesting thing about this fleece is it smells very male because Winston's a working boy. He has girls. Dorsets can come in season, have babies any time of the year, whereas most sheep don't. Anybody have any questions while I'm doing this? This is just setting the fibres all in the same line, and if I was doing it properly, it'll take longer. Oh, thank you, Southern Bless Homestead. I will catch you soon, I hope. So, smells very male, sorry, very hormonal. Hey, Grass-Fed Homestead, very hormonal. That's what it looks like after a little quick carding. When they're ready for tupping, as we call it, when they're ready for breeding, their hormones kick in. Think of it like teenage boy syndrome, you know. Everybody will say teenage boy's bedroom stinks, right? It's the same thing. It's hormones kick in and they smell. So Winston, because he works all year with his girls, smells. And it picks it up in the fleece. So if you've just joined, you don't know what this is. This is a drop spindle, and I haven't actually done this for years, so I'm currently making a bit of a mess of it. But it's a very primitive way of spinning, but it works. It does work. And then you pull it up a little bit to however thick you want it. Now I have this really, really bad problem whenever I'm spinning. I do everything really, really tight, so really thin. And I don't know why. I can't get out of it. I've always done it. So this is just spinning a little bit. This is actually going really well, this Dorset. I wasn't actually expecting it to go this well, she says, as I'm about to mess it up. So, yeah. So his fleece does smell a little bit hormonal, whereas most fleece will only breed once a year. We're getting ready shortly for putting the girls in. My neighbour's already got some girls in with his boys. Well, actually with Winston. Right, so I'm trying to get it a little bit thicker now because I'm a bit of a nightmare at getting it too thin. And this would be what you call art yarn because it's, you know, random. It's not the best. It's not the best looking. I don't really care. I'm having fun. I like doing this. Hi, Flying versus Farm. How are you doing today? So have any of you ever done any spinning before? Oh, see you soon, Half Acre Heaven. Thank you for dropping in. Have any of you ever done this on a drop spindle before? Or even spinning with a wheel? If I'm standing up, I will do this a lot longer. Now, the thicker you do it, obviously the thicker your yarn's going to be. You can see there, I'm getting thicker. Right, I'm getting there. I am getting there. You're not quite sure about what I mean. look how thin that was. Versus there. But yeah, a lot of people, they sell things that they call art yarn or arty yarn. It's basically yarn that's not actually really spun very well. So you got the big bobbly bits in. However, it's actually become a bit of a... Oh, you've got an Ashford. Oh, Ashford loom, Ashford spinning wheels are renowned for being amazing. I've got a made by some guy down in Cornwall. Apparently he made his own ones. He's made one for his wife and everybody loved them, so he started making Yeah, so I'm not doing this properly. This is not really a tutorial. This is just me testing things for my own. Whoops! This is me just testing things for myself. Different fleeces. So we've done the Soe at the beginning. Now we've done the Dorset, which is a lot easier to spin and card than the Soe. A big thing about this is you have to remember which way you're spinning it. If I was standing up, I would keep this spinning and I would be drawing it at the same time. Oh, sorry. Oh, goodbye, Grassford Homestead. Ashford Elizabethan. Ooh. I love weaving. Weaving's my thing. Spinning, I can spin. I mean, I haven't done this for years on a drop spindle. When I did it all the time, I was actually really good. But you're talking a good 15 years, 10, 15 years ago now. I love working with fibre. It's really nice. Right, so patch these pieces together. And now what I want to do is just put that there. And I want to add a bit of the rouge. Now the rouge is a sheep I've never dealt with in any way, shape or form before. My neighbour got one last year. He has a really quite an interesting fleece because his fleece seems to be two different types. And when I say two different types, you'll see exactly what I mean. I'll pick out these couple of pieces. Now this is from the same sheep and he looks the same colour. Two different colours. And this one, the darker one, don't know if you'll be able to make it out there, is crimped. Can you make that out? Crimped. Whereas the light one isn't crimped. So I don't quite know why that is. I guess he must have one type of an undercoat and another type on top. Who knows? I haven't really had much to do with the guy. I mean, he's out in one of my fields, but you know, I feed him every day. I check him over, but that's it really. The length, yeah, that is beautiful. I don't know if you saw, there was a photo of me standing, looking over a massive fleece, absolutely enormous. It was this one. This is it from the rouge. And they call it a rouge. He's got a very slight red tint to his skin, sort of on his face here and here. And he's an interesting sheep. Yeah, the staple length of this is actually about 3.5, 4 inches. So that's quite a good length actually. It's not too long, it's not too short. So I'll just put that on there and just do a very quick carding. This course is called carding. And I'm only doing it quickly, roughly. I'm not doing it properly. As I said, this isn't an instructional video. This is just me playing up in the granary in my fleece and just letting you guys join along. Also, then I can go back and watch the video and remember everything that I did. So, carding sets the fibres all in the same direction. So it makes it easier to spin. You can spin direct actually without carding, and that's actually how I learned to spin, and I found it quite easy because you've still got the lanolin in. You haven't washed it, you haven't carded it, and you just sort of get all the bits, all the bits together. I think it just works really quite well. So this is now the rouge that we're taking on. So I need to sort of clasp it onto there. And then when I spin this should. There we go. Oh dear, I've done it too thick. That's okay. Right, there you go. It takes the spin. Not very well. That's better. Loosen it off and it'll work better. And it just pulls the spin up. This is really nice actually to work with. This rouge is lovely. Never even seen these sheep before. Dorset's nice. This rouge is fantastic. Okay, right, well. I might have to breed some rouge crosses. If I can get this in black, this would be phenomenal. I was not actually expecting to like this so much. This is really nice, so let's get a bit more of it. Sorry, the sheep you can hear is Sean is not very happy. He's in the stable below me because he wasn't well yesterday. Well, he just kept coughing. I wanted to. It took me quite a while to catch him, so I didn't want to let him back out because he's got a more than 1 day injection. Can't do an antibiotic 1 day and go, ah, there you're cured. That's how you get resistance. So this is really nice. It's quite difficult because it's quite thick, and it's taken a lot to get it thinner. But that's really nice. For a first spin, I've got the thin there, which is lovely, and then we've got the thicker here, which feels really nice. That's sort of medium. We can hear you, Sean, darling. Gonzo, go away. Hi, Cindy. So yeah, Rouge, they're a French breed. It's spelt R-O-U-G-E. Rouge. He's a bit lively. This is the Rouge tuck up here. He's used by my neighbour for crossbreeding for meat breeds. And yeah, it's quite a nice fleece. You never know, I might borrow him. To one of my girls. This is nice. I've got a terrible tendency to make things too thin and overspin them, but as I said, this is just a trial. This isn't doing it properly by any means. This is just me having a quick look. Would I wash it? Well, there's different ways of doing it. You can wash before, you can wash after. It completely depends on how you want to do it and what your setup is. For weaving of the rugs, which I do, I wash it after. I don't wash it before because I want it to be able to stick together a bit with the lanolin, which is it's fine for what I'm doing, but if you're going to be making clothes, Obi, go away. If you're going to make something that's going to go next to your skin, then ideally you want to wash it before you spin it. I mean, some of this, as you've seen, I haven't even carded it. To be honest, it's nice. I like working with raw fleece. It hasn't been carded. It's just me, but I guess it's probably because that's how I learned to spin. My first drop spindle with these, I learned on proper washed and everything. Everything was done. But when I learned to spin on a spinning wheel, it was raw fleece. So that's Rouge. The Dorset, I quite like the Dorset. This Rouge has surprised me. That's really, really nice. I really like that. So I have to remember that one for the future. However, once it's been washed, I might not like it as much. My poor Teddy. Let's do some of his next. Teddy was a Shetland mule. He's the one who unfortunately, completely unexpected, just died when I was away. Like the day after we left Pip. It was devastating. Ashley just found him dead. No sign of anything the night before, and unfortunately that happens for sheep. So Teddy's is really short. You can see it's like 2 inches at a push long. It's not as coarse. It is quite coarse, but not as coarse as things like the Black-Nosed Valet. So yeah, you probably could have that next to your skin. And his mum was a mule, and his dad, I think, was Welsh Mountain, or it could have been Shetland. It was one of the two. They didn't know that she was pregnant. So yeah, You do a pre-wash. Well, I've got the streams here, and my plan is for anything that's going to be washed, I am going to put it in the stream in a sort of mesh clamp and leave it there for a while. So let the stream water wash it, because obviously you don't want to use chlorinated water when you're washing fleece. And in the UK, water out of a normal, if you're on the mains water, which we are not, if you're on the mains water, then your water's chlorinated. Nobody tell me chlorine is bad. I live with a doctor of water engineering. It solves far more problems than it causes. Dogs are off. Asher? No, just the door in the wind. However, you don't want to use chlorinated water on fleeces when you're cleaning them. So what my plan is I'm just going to make a clamp thing. I've got the stuff up here behind me actually to make it. I'm just going to make a clamp out of mesh and put the fleece between a couple of pieces of mesh, stick it in the stream. Stream will do it. This is actually really quite difficult already. This is difficult to spin. I've only just started. No, this isn't going to be any good for spinning. However, this will be good for making rugs. Though I'll probably have to blend it with something longer because it's really, really short. Really short staple, as they call. When I showed you and said it's only like 1.5 inches, 2 inches long, that's what I call staple. No, this is no good for spinning. Oh well, sorry Teddy, you'd have made beautiful babies. Oh. Right. Bantha. Remember the massive sheep? My girl with really, really long fleece. She's next. Yes, exactly. Short fleeces are fantastic for needle felting. Needle felting is not something I've ever managed to properly get into. Ugh. God, problem with Bantha's fleece, it was so long, and I don't really think we got it soon enough. I don't think we got it off us soon enough, so there's a lot of natural stuff. A lot of it's matted. The neck was all matted. Ah, that's nice stuff. Oh, no, that's short stuff. Right, I'm going to have to get up to get Banthas. Hopefully you won't see my backside. Where's your dog? There you go. Go away. My dogs are in the way. Right. Oh dear. Let's try and get hold of some of the Banthas that's not matted. There we go. There. That'll do it. Fantastic. Also going to grab some Jacob while I'm here. Feels like a youngster. So Bantha is a really weird cross, which never even considered anybody would have done. Oh dear, we collecting fleece on my Velcro on my shoes. Oh, couldn't find my chair, so I'm sat on a couple of cushions. Right, when you're fat and unfit, that's not fun. So, remember I said that Teddy's fleece was like 2 inches long, 2 inches in staple. That's Bantha's, which is 6, 12, a foot long, 12 inches long, and it's crimped all the way through. So this is quite, this one's quite exciting. Oh, I missed that, sorry Rach. Yeah, these aren't stored properly at all. These were just put up here as somewhere to put them. And I've got to sort out proper bags because we haven't got bags big enough for most of these. Hang on, oh, that's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Yeah, hang on from pillowcases. Thanks for that. So, carding. Oh, God. This is where big carding brushes would be more useful. But as I said earlier, I struggle to use the big carding brushes. They're too heavy. They're just no good for my hands, my arms, and everything. Fibromyalgia, it just hurt. So, let's try carding this. I think I'm going to need a proper drum carder. But look at that. Look how lovely that's just come out already. You know what? I think Bantha is probably going to be my best sheep I've ever bought for fibre. And to be honest, she's actually the most expensive sheep I've ever bought. So, as they said, there's a lot of sheep there. There certainly is. Now, the auction, the rare breed auction, that's what she was entered into in May. They have 2 a year, and the next one is actually on the 31st of this month. No, I can't really afford to buy any more sheep. I've just gone and bought a load of local sheep. I can't really afford to go and buy any more. But if I see another Bantha, I may have to. Right. Now I've carded that. It's sort of a little bit messed up. Very, very fluffy. Really nice. Let's pull that back out again. There we go. Let's see. I'm going to attach this onto the the less good fleece of Teddy. Right, so hopefully that's caught. There we go. Oh, that's lovely. Oh, that's so nice to work with. Look at that, really nice and small and fine and strong. A dark fleece Bantha. Oh, yeah. I was going to use Teddy to breed to her because he's black. And unfortunately, Steve's conformation isn't good enough, in my opinion, to be a breeding boy. So she's going to Russ this year. I'm going to try some of this without carding it first. She's going to Russ, who is the dark grey lad. But what I've also just done is bought 2 Blueface Leicester cross Gotland boys. They're only lambs, but they may well be ready for breeding this year. I don't know. I don't think they were when I saw them last week, but I went to buy a pie from the buffalo farm and ended up buying 4 sheep. However, I bought 2 ewes off them, 2 girls, and I've asked them to be put to their pure Gotland, and I've asked them to be put to their pure Gotland, one of their pure Gotland boys. So next year, hopefully, I'll have a couple of pure Gotland lambs, and hopefully one of them will be a boy in suitable quality for breeding, because their fleece is amazing. I'm just going to keep going with Banthas because this is really nice. So Bantha, but then looking at Russ, we actually think now he's probably part Gotland. He's at least half Gotland, we think, looking at him. I haven't got his fleece up here, have I? It's in the studio, unfortunately. But they have a really lovely, soft and wavy fleece. It's absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I'm messing this up because I'm too busy talking. I'll just carry on like that. There you go. Art yarn. I'm too busy thinking through my head of what a Bantha Gotland cross will look like. But yeah, we do think Russ is at least half Gotland. So she's going to go to Russ this year. Hopefully she'll take. And then the next time, if she'll go to the Blueface Leicester cross Scotland. if one of those turns out to be good quality, which I'm sure they are, where they come from. Yeah. Well, actually, when I went to buy that pie, I technically came back with 3 turkeys and 4 sheep. But I'd gone to pick the turkeys up from a friend just down the road. So it was quite funny. Ash is used to it now. You know, I go out to, I'll say, oh, I'm just going to go get something for tea, and then I'll come back with like a live goose and say, no, it's not for eating. The geese I've changed. They're starting to go in again now. You know, firstly it's getting towards winter, so I need to get back into it. And also because the boy went through a phase a couple of days ago of attacking a couple of chickens. Now, he's not normally like that, so I don't know if he was just having a bad day, but he drew blood on one of my little lemons, my little lemon boys. So, what are you doing down there, Stewie? Sean even, not Stewie. Wrong Zoe. I've got Stewie the Zoe and Sean the Zoe. Sean the sheep. He's so funny. He's not very well. He was coughing yesterday, so I brought him in. And he's not been coughing today. Another reason for doing this up here was I can sit over him and I can hear if he does cough. This is lovely. You know what? I took a chance with Bantha because she's half black-nosed valet, and they have really, really coarse fleece. If ever anybody says to you, oh, you should get a black-nosed valet, they're so cute, they have long fleeces. If you, like me, like making rugs for people to walk on, then great, yeah, get a black-nosed valet. If you want to spin something and make an item of clothing that's going to go next to your skin, or even doesn't need to be next to your skin, if you're making an item of clothing, you do not want black-nosed valet fleece. It's far too coarse. I mean, grey-faced Dartmoor have lovely fleece, and this mix has worked really, really well. But I'm well aware of the fact that if I get myself a black-nosed valet and a grey-faced Dartmoor and breed more, I know that some of the fleeces are going to end up like the black-nosed valet, in which case they're going to be no good for anything other than the rugs. But I like making the rugs, so, you know, that's fine for me. This is lovely. This is. Thank you, Rach. This is a really, really nice fleece. This is lovely. I'm just carrying on because whilst I'm not very good at this, look at that. That's the best I've ever done. Thank you, Bantha. I love my Bantha girl. Everybody literally at the auction, when I bought her, everybody turned round. They heard my number. Our friends who we were there with turned around. They looked at me because they're all below me, and literally all of them at the same time went, "What the?" And they're all saying, "Why? Why?" I said, "I don't know. I've just got to have her." And I tell you what, I'm playing with this fleece. I am really happy that I got her. Because even with all the debris in it, natural debris, in other words, anything like muck, grass seeds, twigs, she picked up the lot. Even with all that, this is so nice. This is just lovely to work with. I might actually take some of this to the house and spin it on the wheel. Look at that. It did absolutely paid off getting her. I mean, the thing is, the people I was with, they breed sheep. Ugly beauty. She is. She's weird looking, and I really like that. So, I've done it thicker. I've done it thinner. It's really strong. It's not as coarse as you'd expect. It's really actually quite soft. It's nice and long. Look, I can just keep pulling that, getting it longer and longer and longer, and still have quite a thick thing. But yeah, my friends I was there with, you know, they breed for meat and they buy for meat, and you know, they're looking at me and go, "What have you done that for?" And I just thought, I've got to have her. That fleece is amazing. She's beautiful looking, and I'm so glad I trusted my instinct. I'm seriously thinking of taking some of this into the house and actually carding it and having a go on the spinning wheel. Right, the last one. Oh no, I've got the Kerry Hill. I haven't tried that. Sean is Surrey Cross Shetland, I think. So this is Kerry Hill. So they're multicoloured. They're the ones with horns. You know, Petsy, Onesie, incredibly crazy toots. They are the mums of Elon, Elon, Rue, and Tula Blue. Also, Petsy is a Jacob. So hers were Chunk, basically all the black ones. They're all Jacob, the black lambs that we have this year, they're all Jacob crosses. And the new black lamb that I bought is a Jacob cross as well. It turns out to be Jacob Cross Kerry Hill, and Kerry Hills are absolutely, the only way to put it is batshit crazy. So Jacobs actually can have longer fleeces than this. Oh, hi, how's it doing with the Herberts? Sorry. I love it. I find it so therapeutic. So the Jacob fleece is that long, which is about 3.5 inches. My hand's 6 inches from there to there, by the way. That's why I put my hand next to something when I'm measuring it. It's useful to know how long your hand is, trust me. Carding teddies and banthas. Heberts, that's it! Oh, I'm sorry. I knew I'd heard it and it was slightly different. I couldn't remember. Actually, thinking about it, when I was younger, we had a church that I was brought up in. There was actually a Bishop Hebert. Completely random. I randomly remember things. Black and white as well. The one thing I do like about these, Jacobs have quite a nice fleece actually. They are quite nice for spinning. If you get you can get longer ones, you can get shorter ones. It completely depends on the sheep. I'm really looking forward to next year trying the fleeces, especially from the new girl, the new lamb, the crazy thing, because she's Kerry Hill, and I've never tried this with the Kerry Hill. I'm gonna do it before I go. Be the next one I try. But I've handled the Kerry Hill, and I quite like the Kerry Hill. Now, one fleece I've never yet been able to try is a pure Scottish black-faced, but I have just bought 2 Scottish black-faced, or blackies as they're well known around here. I have bought 2 of those, 2 lambs, and they'll be over, probably not over till next month. So yeah, the Jacobs is quite nice to work with. It's got sort of a medium amount of lanolin in it, so it's not as much as the Surreys, but it's more than these others. But again, Jacob's a hill breed from up here. I found quite interesting that somebody said in America that Jacobs are classed as really rare, and here they're just like, you can go to the auction and buy them for like £15. It's not a lot. This is quite nice actually. I think this is one of the lambs because it's a bit softer than I'd expect. It's like Petsy's isn't quite this soft, but I don't know if you know. Yeah, exactly, 10 a penny. You're not far off. In fact, you can get a lot of them for free. Trust me. Oh, I don't know if you know, but a sheep's first fleece, first time you shear a sheep, it's about a year, or normally just over a year old, and that first fleece is the softest fleece they're ever going to have. It's like the baby fleece. Arty yarn, mixture of colours and bubbles and everything. Yeah, so that's why I'm feeling this and going, I think this is from one of the babies. It's because from what I have felt of Banther's, not Banther, Brain has gone. Petsy, you know, the really annoying, noisy one who's got 4 horns that are all over the place. That's Petsy. And she's a few years old now, so her fleece has been shorn off, whatever you want to call it, a few times. So it's not as soft as this one feels to me. So the last one I'm going to do, I think, today is the Kerry Hill. It started raining. I can hear all the goats crying because they're outside. They want to come in. I'm going to have to move Sean to get the goats back in. I can hear the turkeys. Turkeys are on their first day out. I don't know why I can hear them over here. They were right at the other side of the yard earlier. Ah, there's so much lanolin on my hands. Look at that. You see the shininess. I don't mind the smell. I know a lot of people don't like it, but I don't mind it actually. It's quite nice. Probably not when you're handling the boys and they're a bit hormonal, as I said earlier. Right, Kerry, the Kerry Hill. I'm going to go get hers. Jen, by the way, a pet lamb, yours, Pip's friend. Jen is a Kerry Hill cross Scottish black-faced. And I actually fell in love with Scottish blackface last year. I went to a show, Keith's show, down the road, and I'd never seen a fleece like it in my life. And I was walking through this, like this indoor bit, marquee, that's the word, isn't it? Canopy, not canopy, marquee. I was walking through this marquee to go and have a look at the fleeces down at the bottom with the lady who had produced these fleeces at the bottom, and I just saw this amazing fleece on the left, and I was like, I need to know what that is. I need to know what that is. Anyway, I was having to talk to this woman, not having to, it was a privilege to, it was fascinating talking to her about her sheep and how she processes what she does up here. But on my way out, I was like, I have to handle this fleece, and I walked over, and they're quite long like Banther, but they're more like a hair than a wool, so it's really difficult to explain, but their fleece is designed, the Scottish black-faced sheep, the main idea with them is they go out. Oh, thank you, Flying versus Farm, for popping in. See you soon. The idea of the Scottish blackface is they can live out here on the Highlands. They can live up on the hills, and you only have to get them in once a year, twice a year at most, to, you know, do their feet, do any vaccinations you want to do. They lamb out there all on their own. You just leave them to it, and that's how they've been produced over the years. So their fleece is about this long, and it's like when the wind hits them, the fleece sort of parts in the middle, and it looks like they're properly windswept. It looks amazing. So, and at the moment, Jen's fleece is amazing. So Scottish blackface cross Kerry Hill. So I'm just going to go have a quick play with Kerry's, which is over there. So I'll be back in a moment. Gonzo, get out of the way. Come on, move. Go. Sleeping on my jacket, which only got washed yesterday. Thanks, dog. Excuse my bottom, everybody. Don't lick my face, dogs. Oh, sorry, I've seized up. Probably got a good view of my bottom there. Right, Kerry Hill. Kerry. There's the Kerry. I haven't really got anything else interesting, have I? A bit more so you, yeah, we have to show one of them. The Kerry Hill. Now the Kerry Hill fleece is quite weird because it's not very long at all. Sorry if the camera moves, the floor isn't really good here. Very, very old. Hello. So, Kerry Hill fleece. It's not very long. It's only a few inches long. Let's have a go. Dogs, you're really annoying at times. Obi! Oh, Obi's got a mouthful of fleece. You nutter. Let me get that out. Silly dog. Obi, leave it. Okay, you can tell the dogs are getting bored. Yeah, Kerry Hill fleece is actually quite interesting in that when you grab hold of a sheep, generally the handful of fleece you've grabbed hold of, because that's, the normal way of grabbing a fleece is grabbing a sheep, is you'll grab the fleece and then you've got hold of the sheep. You're not hurting them, you're just holding them back. It's like if you grab hold of somebody's coat, you're just holding them back. And the Kerry Hills, you tend to find when you do that, the fleece just comes straight out. So all you end up with instead of a sheep is a handful of fleece. It feels really quite nice. Just doing this just to see how it goes. But I mean, it's not very long, but it's quite thick. These are from Wales, they're Welsh breed. So that's quite thick. It's much thicker than the others once you've carded it. It doesn't sort of split up like most fibres do. I mean, Banthas was like all over the place. So I have high hopes for this. I hope it works. But it is, again, very short staple. So this might actually be a good idea to blend this with Banthas, because it is quite nice and it'll bulk it out, because it's quite a thick fibre. There we go. Oh yeah, that's nice. Yes, I like this. I like Kerry Hill. It's kind of a shame I haven't got a available Kerry Hill tupper anymore. I could get one, but they're a pain in the backside. Kerry Hills do not respect fencing, or people, or authority, or bigger sheep, or horses, or anything. They're really, this is working really well. I love Kerry Hills. They're very opinionated sheep. They're quite funny. Look at that. Okay, this is now the easiest one to spin. Okay, right. Kerry Hill mixed with Bantha. Yeah, a bit like Billy. Absolutely. My neighbour's Kerry Hill. He got rid of them. The ewes are terrible. They're not the best mothers in the world. They seem to have a lot more problems than most other sheep when lambing. And the boy, after he'd covered his girls, he got out of the paddock, went to the next farm, played with all their girls. After that, because you can't then get hold of him because he's just gone. After that, he then went to another farm, played with a load of their girls. When he'd finished that, he came back to my neighbour's farm, jumped in with his Jacobs. He was meant to be in with the Kerry Hills. Jumped in with the Jacob ewes, and now he's got a load of Jacob crosses. Okay, right, well, a very, very quick go at the Kerry Hill, and I'm telling you now, this is now one of my favourite fleeces for spinning. Certainly on a drop spindle. That is so easy. Even though it's really short, try it without carding. Even though it's really short, this is really nice. And it's softer than you'd think, because this isn't this girl's first fleece at all. This is really nice. Right, okay, Bantha cross Kerry Hill. I'll do it in blending. Not really sure I want a male Kerry Hill. They're a pain in the backside. Wow. I was not expecting that. Is that Brian's Jersey Garden? Thank you. This is just a drop spindle. This is very, very basic form of spinning. This is like medieval times. In fact, medieval times, you'd still had spinning. You did actually have spinning wheels by then. But this would be things, like the peasants would do. If you couldn't afford a spinning wheel, this is what you'd do. Drop spindle. This is generally how you start spinning. This is really nice. I like this. Do sheep do shotgun whitting? Tend to find with sheep, what happens is whoever gets in there and gets the girl first, he's who gets her. Unfortunately, oh, Brian, it's really relaxing. Actually, I was saying earlier when I used to work in London and live down in Sussex, I used to get the train every day to London, and I would sit on the train platform just doing this. If I was standing up, I could do it properly, but you wouldn't be able to see it. Um, do it longer. But also, I haven't done this for years, so this is me just playing around with something I haven't done for a very long time. So I'm incredibly impressed how well some of this is turning out. I mean, look at that. That's perfect. I could sell that. Wow, that is amazing. It's fantastic. I'm so happy. You guys have no idea how happy this is making me because I have two Kerry Hills. I have one lamb and one adult ewe girl, and I have Jen, who's a Kerry Hill cross. But I'd never dealt with a Kerry Hill, never even felt a Kerry Hill until I moved up here. And I don't mean felt it up, I mean felt the fibre, got my hands on it. So this is actually, I'm really happy with this. When I took on the Kerry Hill, I took her on because her lamb was really sick. Um, she'd lost the first one at birth, um, and then the second one was just not doing very well, and it had to be supplementary fed. So whilst mum was feeding it a bit, she had mastitis. So a lot of what the lamb was having was actually poisoning her. And I took them on. I didn't pay for them. I didn't buy them. I said when the lamb is of breeding age, I said I will replace the lamb, replace the ewe with, or the lamb, because the ewe is technically now worthless as a breeding ewe because she's had mastitis. For a commercial farmer, you don't want that. Those ewes are normally culled. Um, but for me, it's not a problem. I've got a lot of land. I've got time. I've got a smaller flock, so for me, it's not a problem because I can supplementary feed if she gets mastitis again, which she probably will. So I've got no plans of breeding her this year, but I might try next year. I don't know. We'll see. Got to think about that one. Anyway, there you go, everybody. I'm so grateful so many of you came to watch. So we've done the Rouge, who I loved. The Dorset, wasn't great. Banthas, which I knew I would love, but didn't realise how much I'd love. Jacob, I quite like Jacobs. Teddy's, no good. And he was a mule, but mules are a meat breed, so he was a mule cross, either a Shetland or a Welsh Mountain. I think Welsh Mountain. And then we've done the Kerry Hill, which is amazing. Wow. Well, thank you everybody for joining me. Well, I've just spent an hour just playing around with this. This has been great fun. Great fun for me, anyway. And I haven't heard Sean coughing. He's below me. I haven't heard him coughing, so that's good. I can hear the goats, though. Right. Thanks for joining me, and hopefully you'll catch me again another time, and hopefully I will catch you another time. Bye!